Good morning and welcome to today's proceedings of the National Assembly on this 16th day of June 2020. This morning, the Committee of Supply will be considering the estimates of recurrent and development expenditure detailed in the budget which was presented by Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani last week on Thursday. This budget is for the year ending 30th June 2021. This broadcast is brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in conjunction with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. In the other business which the House will be getting into this morning, questions where the member for Nyatike constituency, Honorable Tomo Dege, will ask the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and Coordination of National Government to provide a list of all prison officers who have undertaken further studies or acquired specialized training, skills and qualifications but have been seconded and deployed as technicians. Could the Cabinet Secretary justify the recent placement of an external advert calling for the recruitment of 500 general cadet officers and technicians into the Kenya Prison Services before an internal recruitment was carried out in line with the Public Service Commission's policy? Would the Ministry put in place measures to ensure priority is given to promotion of serving officers who are qualified before recruiting externally in line with the prudent human resource practice? This question will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security. The member for Malindi constituency, Honorable Aisha Juma, will ask the Cabinet Secretary for Transport, Infrastructure, Housing, Urban Development and Public Works to give the status of the construction of Barichu Bridge, which connects Malindi and Magarini sub-counties in Kilifi County, and state when it will be completed. And also, could the Cabinet Secretary also give the status of compensation of property owners of residential houses demolished to pave way for the expansion of Lamu Malindi Highway? This question by the Honourable Member for Malindi will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Transport, Public Works and Housing. The member for Kuria East, Honourable Marwa Maisori, will ask the Cabinet Secretary for Energy what measures is the Cabinet Secretary taking to increase electricity connectivity in Kuria East constituency, which was rated the lowest in electricity connectivity in the country at 6.42% under the stalled schemes phase 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 by Kenya Power, particularly connectivity of public institutions and utilities, including 69 public schools and households neighboring these schools under the last mile connectivity program. This question will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Energy. The member for Madhioya constituency, Honorable Peter Kihara, will ask the Cabinet Secretary for Devolution and Arid and Semi-Arid Lands to explain why Nyangiti Borehole in Gitugi Ward in Madhioya constituency, which was constructed through public funds in 2017, is yet to be operationalized. When will the said borehole be equipped and operationalized to provide safe and sufficient water to residents of Madhioya constituency? This question will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Environment and Natural Resources. If you're just joining us, we're waiting for the business of the National Assembly to begin on this 16th day of June 2020. A very busy day for the National Assembly. The members will be considering the estimates of recurrent and development expenditure for the year ending 30th June 2021. Of course, that will be before the Committee of Supply. When the committee, the members will be debating various votes, among them the Executive Office of the President, which has been proposed to receive an allocation of 36 billion. The State Department for Interior and Citizen Services, an allocation of 132 billion. The State Department for Correctional Services, an allocation of 28 billion. With vote number 1032, the State Department for Devolution, a budgetary allocation of 5.6 billion. The State Department for Development of the ASL, 9.8 billion. The Ministry of Defense, 115.4 billion. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, 15.7 billion. If you're just joining us, the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Moses Chaboy, is in the chamber ready to oversee the business this morning in the National Assembly. Enjoy your viewing. This broadcast is courtesy of the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in conjunction with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. Good morning.
Honorable members, let's pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to performance of important trusts in this republic. Let your blessing descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberations in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country, and of those whose interest you've committed to our charge. Amen. Order members, we were just confirming whether we have the required quorum, and looking at what we have in other holding chambers, we have quorum, and therefore business will begin.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Under that particular order, we have the leader of majority starting us off.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Tuesday, 16th June 2020, in the morning sitting. 1, the budget statement for fiscal year 2020-2021. 2, financial statement for the financial year 2020-2021. 3, estimate of revenue, grants and loans for the government of Kenya for the year ending 30th June 2021. 4, statistical annex to the budget statement for the financial year 2020-2021. And lastly, the budget highlights the Mwananchi Guide for the financial year 2020-2021.
Very well. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Yes, on this particular one, we have, let's start with the statements. So we will have the member for Lafay, Honorable Abdi Mude.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A statement regarding status of the construction of Elwak Fino roads in Lafay constituency. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44.2c, I wish to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Transport, Public Works and Housing regarding the status of the improvement of Elwak Fino Road in Lafay constituency to bitumen standards. Honorable Speaker, an elaborate and well-maintained road networks is an essential infrastructural establishment for facilitating access to social amenities, spurring socio-economic development and opening up regions for investment. The Elwak Fino Road is a major highway serving the northeastern part of the country. However, the road is in deplorable state, yet in the budget estimate for financial year 2017-18, this Honorable House appropriated funds for improvement of the said road to bitumen standards. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I seek for a statement from the Chairperson of Departmental Committee on Transport, Public Works and Housing on the following. What is the status of the construction of Elwak Fino Road, considering that the House did appropriate funds for its construction in the fiscal year 2017-18 and the tender advertised thereafter? What plans has the Ministry put in place to ensure that the construction of the said road commences as soon as possible, considering that the Mandera Fino Road is almost complete? I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Chair, Public Works, Transport and Public Works. How much time do you require? You have the mic now.
Honorable Speaker, I thank you. Can I say a week? Yes.
Okay, I think that is fair. So we go to the next one. That is the Honorable Member for Isiolo, Rehema Jaldesa. Honorable Rehema Jaldesa. Honorable Rehema Jaldesa, is he in any other of the holding areas? Can't see any indication, so we will skip that one. Then we'll go to the questions. And I'm informed that Honorable Aisha Jumwa, who is supposed to ask the first question, has made a request, which I accept, that it be deferred, and I therefore defer. Let's have the member for Nyatike, Honorable Tom Odege.
Honorable Speaker, allow me to ask question number 26. Could the Cabinet Secretary provide a list of all prison officers who have undertaken further studies or acquired specialized training, skills, and qualifications, but have been seconded and deployed as technicians? Number two, could the Cabinet Secretary justify the recent placement of an external advert calling for the recruitment of 500 general cadets officers and technicians into the Kenya Prison Service before an internal recruitment was carried out in line with the Public Service Commission's policy. Number 3, will the ministry put in place measures to ensure priority is given to promotion of serving officers who are qualified before recruiting externally in line with the prudent human resource practice? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. That one will be replied to before the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security. Next. Well, Chairman, would you wish to say something to that? I think it's okay. We have referred it to the committee. They will be able to transact that in due time. Now, and then we have the question by the member for Madhioya. That's Honorable Peter Kihara.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to ask question number 63 of 2020, and the question is directed to the Cabinet Secretary for Devolution and Assaults. Could the Cabinet Secretary explain why Nyangete Borehole in Getuge Ward in Madhioya constituency, which was constructed through public funds in 2017, is yet to be operationalized? When will the said borehole be equipped and operationalized to provide safe and sufficient water to the residents of Madhioya? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Departmental Committee on Environment and Natural Resources. Honorable members, we had skipped the responses by chairpersons to statements, and we have 2 of them. No, we have actually 3. Let's start with the response by the Departmental Committee on Administration and National Security to the statement request by Honorable Robert Gashimu, member for Gishugu. The Chair, you are ready on this one? You have 2 actually. So are you ready? We have one by Honorable Gashimu and the other one by Honorable Tom Oluoch.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very good.
Honorable Speaker, I need to respond to request by Honorable Geshimu Gedenji regarding the provision of foodstuff and other relief supplies to informal settlements across the country in order to manage the COVID-19 pandemic. I wish to state as follows, Honorable Speaker. The informal settlements are mainly located in the cities and towns of the country. Most of the people in these settlements are vulnerable largely to low income, that in turn leads to low purchasing power. The ministry provides relief supplies to vulnerable persons across the country on a regular basis, but does not specifically target the slums. The food is meant for all persons who are mainly needy, particularly those who have been affected by disasters. The foodstuff includes maize, beans, rice, and cooking oil. Non-food items like tarpaulins, blankets, and iron sheets, among others, are also provided on a need basis and in line with the available resources. Honorable Speaker, due to the coronavirus pandemic, however, the ministry has prepared a database of vulnerable people in all the counties. The data has been shared with the relevant ministries that will be involved in implementing the necessary interventions. These include the Ministry of Interior and Coordination of National Government and Labor and Social Protection, among others. The ministry will work closely with the county governments in providing any support that will be needed by persons who will be adversely affected by COVID-19. Honorable Speaker, the government, through the existing structures, national and county, for managing disasters in the county has identified vulnerable persons in every county up to the village level. The criteria used to identifying vulnerable persons takes into consideration the following: level of income as provided by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, status of an individual, employed, unemployed, or engaged in any business or farming, vulnerability due to age, disability, or illness, availability, access, and utility of food, market prices of goods and services, climatic condition and its effects on crop and livestock farming. Honorable Speaker, the ministry has always distributed relief food to vulnerable people without discrimination, favoritism, wastage, or theft. The people targeted for assistance are identified using a community-based targeting and distribution system, CBTD, in which the local leaders and potential beneficiaries participate in identifying those who are needy and deserve relief supplies. The County Steering Group, CSG, co-chaired by the County Commissioner and the County Governor or his representative, oversees the entire process of targeting and distribution of relief food. There are, however, occasional cases of theft or diversion of relief food, which are dealt with administratively and in accordance with the law. All persons who receive relief food are not only expected to keep social distancing, but must also observe all safety protocols on management of COVID-19. Honorable Speaker, the ministry has been running relief program for many years. At any given time, there are people in the country who require relief assistance because their lives and livelihoods have been affected by disasters. Currently, the ministry is providing relief assistance to people affected by the floods and in landslide across the country. And Honorable Speaker, for that I have attached a list of the distribution of food in the month of April and May for the member to see where the food have been distributed. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. Let's see, Honorable Gishimu. The first shot I give to the member who requested for the statement. And if I actually do not see him around, so therefore I will give an opportunity to two members. One will be the Honorable Dr. Wamalwa. Members, you don't need to put up your hands because even if you did, I will not recognize you for two reasons. One, I am not supposed to, and secondly, it is difficult to, recognize you when you have that gadget in your face. Very difficult. So I'd rather use this one, the normal gadget that we have here.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. First and foremost, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank Honorable Koinange for that wonderful response, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is true, it's a nightmare now when it comes to this relief food. An instant, Mr. Speaker, in the county I come from, Trans Nzoia County, we've seen food being distributed, Mr. Speaker, by the Cabinet Secretary in charge of devolution. And there are many Kenyans who are being discriminated, Mr. Speaker, on political lines. We need to understand, because this food, Mr. Speaker, even the provincial administration, we have seen people complaining that the chiefs are selling this relief food, Mr. Speaker. We also need to know, is this aligned to a particular political formation, Mr. Speaker? Because it's been clear in my county, the CS comes with food, and that is food courtesy of Kenya's taxpayers' money, taxi of the donors, Mr. Speaker, and the food is given to some specific MCS, others are left out. When they ask for the reason, Mr. Speaker, They are told they are not politically correct, Mr. Speaker. We want clarity. What do we mean by being politically correct? And this food, is it supposed to be distributed through the MCS or through the provincial administration where it goes to the chiefs? And there are some chiefs, Mr. Speaker, it has been demonstrated clearly that they have sold food to some shops. What action is the ministry taking, Mr. Speaker, against such chief officers? And what action are you taking against the CS, Mr. Speaker, who is using this food for his political reasons and political ambitions? Because he has been seen everywhere, Mr. Speaker, moving around, purporting in the name of Luya unity to go and distribute food. Mr. Speaker, we need a clarification on this. And what action is it being taken against that particular CS, Mr. Speaker?
Now, Honorable Malwa, you see, you had actually come out very well initially, but towards the end, you know, I think you digressed. So it became again local politics, which is going to be difficult for us to transact as a house. Now, I'm going to look for someone else. I can see there are very many people from that region who are requesting but I'm not going to because there are many. So let's see from another part of the country. Honorable Nyamai Kaki.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, when I came in, I found the Honorable Koinange giving a response regarding distribution of food. And Honorable Speaker, I would like to say that, yes, it is true that there is demand for food. There are many people who do not have food because of floods and other areas because of different natural disasters that happened. However, Honorable Speaker, before I make my comments, I would like to say that I'd put a point of order because I felt that the Honorable Wamalwa, who I have a lot of respect for, was disgracing. Because mentioning names of CS, going down to MCS, going down to chiefs, he is actually bringing local politics into this house, and I think he can do it better out there. Honorable Speaker, I would like to say that, yes,
now, Honorable Nyamai, you have to make a decision as to whether you want to, you know, because you are also doing exactly the same thing you're accusing Wamalwa of. You're also digressing. Now, because Honorable Nyamai, on the one hand, it was a point of order you indicated, but I actually gave you an opportunity to ask your own, you know, you make your own question. Now, I do not know, you have to make up your mind on which one you want to deal with. Are you interested in the point of order, or you want to make your own contribution, which you actually have? Okay.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for your guidance. And I am going now to stick to the matters that were raised by the Honorable Koinange. Honorable Speaker, I would like to say that, yes, it is true that when this food is being distributed, it should not have any political inclinations. And that is extremely important to note. However, I would like to say that I would like to appreciate, first of all, that I have received food for my own constituency, and it is important that the honorable members know that if you have a need for food in your constituency, there is a channel that you can use, even to request for more food for your constituency. And I'm saying this because it is something that I have done. If I'm receiving 500 sacks, for example, for my constituency, and I have 2 sub-counties, I normally make an effort to ensure that I give information that these are the numbers in my constituency, and I have been considered. So, Honorable Speaker, I would like to say that, yes, distribution of food is happening. And where I come from, Kitui South, in fact, the food is issued by the DCC and my chiefs. It doesn't have any political issues. And when I get an opportunity, I participate. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yeah, you'll have to stop there because what you have done is actually taken over from Honorable Koinange and answered Honorable Chris Wamalwa. I think we should leave it to Honorable Koinange. He will do his job well as he normally does. Now, I know there is a member from the holding areas. I can see there is a leader of majority. You want to speak to this one, leader of majority? Then, in the meantime, Honorable Pukose from the other holding areas.
Mr. Speaker, I really want to thank the chair for that very elaborate statement. Mr. Speaker, as a person who comes from a region that has been a recipient of relief food, and looking at the numbers this House allocates in terms of resources, the billions we allocate to relief food, I think this House and government must think now outside the box. And I think I will be suggesting in future, maybe even through government and through this House, that we turn the relief food into cash transfer. Because that will be better off. Because there's pilferage. Let us not run away from the truth. This relief food has some pilferages. It doesn't reach the people 100%, the intended people. So in fact, our suggestion is that if you can give those people some little money in form of cash, and they can go and buy what they want from the nearby shopping centers, that will even improve the economy of those shopping centers in the rural areas. And I want to make it very, very clear. In fact, let me not hide. I've even discussed with the president, and we are reading close to the same page, that this House is allocating billions to relief food. So why can't we give those billions to those people, even if it is 2,000, so that they go to the nearby shopping center, they can buy unga, they can buy tea leaves, and that again will also improve the economy of that area. I think as a House, because we are dealing with the budget, that should be the route we should go to, instead of, year in, year out, since independence, giving our people, maize. So you give somebody maize or rice, so what else is he going to do with it? So it's better we give him even 2,000, 3,000, and I think we should think outside the box. Our chairman is here, and the Minister of Devolution. We should go that route, I think, going forward.
Honorable Pukose, what the chair is saying is that, what the leader of majority is saying is that probably when you are given the 2,000, you could easily buy the seed rather than the food itself. So proceed, Honorable Pukose.
Bwana Spika, nashukuru kwa kunipa fursa hii. Nataka kushukuru mwenyekiti Mheshimiwa Koinange kwa ile mambo amesema. Lakini jambo kubwa Bwana Spika, katika ukawaji ya hii chakula ambayo tunasema ni relief food, kusaidia wale wanaumia. Mimi nataka kujiunga na mwenzangu kutoka Trans Nzoia Mheshimiwa Chris Wamalwa kwamba sisi tuko na shida kwa sababu ile chakula ililetwa kule. Hata tunapoongea saa hii Bwana Koinange, tunaambiwa mafuta iliibwa. Ile ilienda katika kaunti ya Trans Nzoia, yes, mafuta iliibwa. Na hadi sasa ile ya relief, na hadi sasa haijapatikana. Na nafikiri ni jambo ambalo tunatakana kuangalia. Chakula ya relief food inapopeanwa, tumeweka mikakati gani kuhakikisha kwamba hiyo chakula inafikia wale ambao walikuwa wanahitaji kupewa hiyo chakula. Tuhakikishe kwamba kila mtu yule ambaye ameathirika anaweza kushughulikiwa vilivyo. Mimi najua watu watajaribu kusema pengine tupeane pesa, tupeane hii. Pengine wengine wanaweza chukua pesa hizo na wakafanyia jambo ambalo sio vile. Kwa sababu wengine watachukua pesa na kukunywa hata pombe. Wengine watachukua pesa na isifikie watoto na wamama. Kwa hivyo tunapopeana hii chakula, tuhakikishe kwamba inafikia wale ambao wameathiriwa kwa kikweli.
Okay.
So Bwana Koinange, ningependa kuomba muhakikishe kwamba wale wanahusika na kudistribute relief food wanawajibika. Na wengine pia Bwana Speaker, just taka moja, wasitumie relief food kwa mambo ya kisiasa. Tupeane chakula kwa wale ambao wameathirika, siasa itakuja baadaye. Nashukuru Bwana Speaker.
Yeah, I can see the leader minority saying even the maize, these people can convert it and use it to do the things you have just said they should not do. Well, of course, the chair, you'll have a chair. These are very, there is quite a lot of interest in it. So I'll give 2 more members, and then you will respond generally to it. So I'll pick one lady, and let's see the majority whip. And then I come to a lady to my left.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. First and foremost, allow me to appreciate the comments from the chair. And as one of the constituencies that have benefited from the distribution, I want to say that mine went on very well because it was organized from my office and that of the DCC. Honorable Speaker, it's just important that we get coordination proper. And once we get coordination proper, and we take it from the county commissioner to the DCC, this system can simply work very well.
Okay.
But we don't politicize in between and move on with the distribution. For my case and the county of Kakamega, we want to say it is well done and it's well done. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Okay. Let's have that lady who is putting up her hand, the honorable member for, that's Baringo.
Thank you, Mr.
You know,
Speaker.
you have changed your sitting position, and I cannot be able to recognize you. Now, that is the member for Baringo. Proceed.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also want to appreciate what the Chair Security has brought to us about relief food, but also to add that, Mr. Speaker, sir, what people are trying to say, or members are trying to say here, is that true, food could be coming, but not the right people who are supposed to really get the food are the ones who are getting. Many a times when you ask the public, but we thought the government is bringing food, they tell you, but Mheshimiwa, that food comes, but we don't get it. The people who are supposed to get it, the vulnerables are not getting. What I'm trying to say, Mr. Speaker, we need to look into how we are going to do these things. And instead of 100% depending on chiefs, we need to look at the Nyumba Kumi leaders who really know the needs of the people at the village there. Because again, we are inclined to whoever these people are also associated with, they want to actually make them benefit alone. Mr. Speaker, I want to talk about Baringo, where we have floods and the expansive Lake Baringo. What is happening there, Mr. Speaker? We have people who have been taken away from their homes submerged into the lake, and up to today, Mr. Speaker, they have not received that food. I have not seen the CS devolution going there. They have not gotten any assistance, Chair. So it is important that when we are hearing food is going this way and the other way, those people have not gotten any attention until I've also taken some step and asked for some fund to really, through GAF, to give me for some emergency to assist them. Okay. So it is important that you look into that so that we also feel as Kenyans that when this food is going around, it is going around to all people, taxpayers, without actually being biased on some communities. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minority Deputy Leader, but please let it be very brief. Actually, that would have been the last one, but yeah.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I just wanted to point out to the Honorable Chair, one of the problems that I think is being faced in the distribution of this food, Mr. Speaker, because what happens is that the food comes to the local community, but there is no money that is given in order to assist in the distribution. So what happens is that some people have to probably fund the transportation, and in the process, also there are those who are loading and offloading. So a lot of the food actually is used to pay those people that are supposed to be loading or offloading as a means of payment. So that's how the food actually gets to be reduced. So maybe you need to consider how to do that without spending more money.
Please, as you respond, you really don't need to go to the details. Basically, what the members were doing is to give you the feedback, so you can be able to pick some of those and go and make it better. But you can briefly and in summary respond to members very briefly.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and thank you, honorable members. And I've noted most of the concerns that the members have, especially the issue of delivery and many problems on the ground, and also selecting the people who deserve to get this food. And I would say also in Baringo, I have, which you can be able to get from the table office, they have delivered quite a number of food in Baringo already. And Honorable Speaker, the issue of leaning politically, I think is very wrong. And I and you know that even we are told that God says, I came to ask for food and you gave me. And it is very wrong when people usually even write what you are the one giving this food. Food is very sensitive. Just give from your heart, and you don't have to do any politics by giving food. And that way, you'll be blessed even as a member of parliament. And I think many a times we are going the wrong direction, trying to make politics out of food supplies. And the issue of security of delivery, I will make sure that I notify both devolution and interior that there's a problem of food delivery. And Nyumba Kumi will get more involved in selecting the people. As a matter of fact, we decided instead of the chiefs, because the chiefs most of the time, they'll go to their relatives and everybody, but Nyumba Kumi will give us a better list, and that's what we are using nowadays for Nyumba Kumi. And the other issue is the issue of what Honorable Duale had said. Maybe we should change the way of giving by providing the funds right to the ground, and we'll be able to build those particular areas. And Honorable Speaker, with that, I would like to do my last statement, if you allow me, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, please. Proceed.
Thank you,
the one by Honorable Tom Oluoch.
Yes.
Proceed, please.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, this from Honorable Tony Oluoch Madare and Anthony here. And Honorable Speaker, I wish to state as follows. Official documents in our possession indicates that the Madare Police Depot, land LR number 209/8600, measuring 32.65 hectares, was set aside for Kenya Police in 1975. The police depot borders Getaduro River, Kosovo, Madare, IVB slums, the old Madare Primary School, and Madare Mental Hospital. A copy of map and attached, and allotment. And I have both allotment and the map. Honorable Speaker, the allotment was issued on 4/11/2010 for a period of 99 years with effect from 1st September 1998, and no requisite land payments made. Appendix 2, the police depot comprises of 32 housing units for senior officers, 232 units for subordinate ranks, and 29 Mabati A frames for civilian officers. There is also a police canteen and an old block that once used to host the Provincial Training Center. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, the Madare Police Depot land is protected under Section 3 of the Protected Area Act, Chapter 204 of the Laws of Kenya, as read with the 6th schedule of the Protected Areas Orders. It is described in paragraph 3 of the 6th schedule as Madare Police Depot and Provisional Police Training Center at Madare in Nairobi area. The land was gazetted in the Kenya Gazette through the legal notice number 56 of 1976, LN 56/1976, and legal notice number 11 of 1991, LN number 11/1991. The land was originally bound with a fence, but as time passed, the fence decayed and some portions vandalized, leaving the land open. As the land remained open due to lack of budgetary allocation to mend the fence, this led to encroachment on the property by squatters who over time have constructed both temporary and permanent structures. Honorable Speaker, thirdly, a committee calling itself Madare Settlement Scheme, formed in 1997, was found to be involved in the illegal allocation of the police land by issuing certificates to unsuspecting land buyers within Kosovo, Getaduro, and Madare IVB slums. Some 41 of the owners of buildings on land was summoned to appear and present their title documents before the National Land Commission on February 12, 2016 and 26 January 2017, but failed to appear. The National Land Commission, in their ruling on 26 January 2017, revoked the 41 title deeds and held that the 32.65 parcel of land belonged to the Kenya Police Service. Honorable Speaker, the allegation that residents of Mathare Ward are living in fear cannot be ascertained, since the Kenya Police Service has not engaged them directly or issued eviction notices to them. Honorable Speaker, we cannot confirm when the said residences started existing, but the land invasion happened in the 90s. The Ministry of Lands can ascertain from documents in their possession. It is true that youth have been prevented from accessing the playing ground due to the following reasons. One, Honorable Speaker, the playing ground is an open space and is approximately 5 meters from the administration block and the main armory. Second, the resident youth had converted the open space as a hard drugs den. Thirdly, at night, the ground was used by criminals to plan and coordinate criminal activities within the area. Honorable Speaker, it is therefore our opinion that those who have encroached on the land should be given notice to vacate and forcibly injected upon the expiry of the notice. The land belongs to the police, and the same has been confirmed by the National Land Commission. The land, having been allocated in 1975, was not available for private allocation. Hence, all those settled on the land are in illegal occupation. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. That was a very detailed response. So I will not open it up because that was a very specific statement to a specific member. So if the Honorable Luoch is in here, I'll give him one opportunity and then we move on because it's a very detailed statement in my opinion. Yes, since he doesn't seem to be in, we will move to the next one. So we go to the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Transport, Public Works and Housing, who is responding on the forced railing of cargo by SGR from Mombasa to Naivasha ICD, sorry.
I thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this great opportunity. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 44.2c, Honorable Abdul Samad Sharif Nasir sought a statement, Honorable Speaker, from this Honorable Committee on the following issues. One, what informed the notice on transit cargo by the Cabinet Secretary with regard to current economic problems bedeviling the sector? Two, what is causing congestions at the Port of Mombasa and what plans are there to reduce the congestion as well as address the port efficiency? Three, how is addressing the COVID-19 pandemic a measure of decongesting the Port of Mombasa? Four, whether the notice on transit cargo issued is contrary to Competition Act. And finally, Honorable Speaker, why could the ministry allow cargo operators and clearing agents the option of choosing to use Naivasha Inland Container Depot or use other facilities, Honorable Speaker? And Honorable Speaker, therefore, I submit as follows. Honorable Speaker, the primary reason for issuing the notice on transit cargo was to contain the spread of COVID-19. And let me repeat, Honorable Speaker, this is a very important statement because there is some... issues which are being raised to insinuate that this is given by an individual for individual reasons. That is the CS, and it's not true, Honorable Speaker, and therefore the public needs to listen to this one very carefully. The notice was the result of consultations held by the heads of state, Honorable Speaker, during the consultation meeting of the East African Community held by video conference on 12 May 2020, and the subsequent consultation among the partner state ministers in charge of transport. Honorable Speaker, the purpose of this consultation was to formulate strategies of stemming the spread of COVID-19 pandemic in the East African region, whilst at the same time, Honorable Speaker, facilitate smooth flow of people and commerce. Honorable Speaker, it is after this meeting and after a follow-up meetings of the ministers responsible for transport in the 4 countries that the CS for transport, Honorable Speaker, issued a statement that transit cargo for those countries should be collected at the Naivasha Inland Container Terminal, Honorable Speaker, as agreed and in line with the directive by the 4 presidents. Following a visit to Naivasha Inland Container Terminal, all the countries, Honorable Speaker, were expected to issue similar statement. Honorable Speaker, I need to emphasize what came from the Ministry, Honorable Speaker, that the notice on transit cargo is not a negotiation or a negation of the agreement reached earlier with the leaders from the Mombasa County, Kenya Transport Association, and the committee. That is my committee, Honorable Speaker. It's not a negation at all, or a conflict, or an amendment of that negotiation. To withdraw the circular issued in 2019, directing that all cargo from Mombasa port be transported to Nairobi only by STR. Honorable Speaker, the directive issued by KPA and KRN then was withdrawn upon intervention by this committee, Honorable Speaker, and the leaders of Mombasa and the ministry. That directive, Honorable Speaker, I want to emphasize, was respect to Nairobi Container Terminal, and it is still in force. The recent directive, Honorable Speaker, is on the Naivasha Container Depot and only affects transit cargo, Honorable Speaker. This directive takes into consideration and account the following. 1, movement by trucks and related movement by drivers. As the movement of persons is the main transmitter of the COVID-19 pandemic, as we have seen in the 3 o'clock news by the ministry. Through shortening the distance, Honorable Speaker, we have addressed the major source of this disease. 2, the shortened distance, Honorable Speaker, which reduces the damage to the roads and the huge investment required to maintain them. 3, reduction of accidents, which is a major cost to our economy. And 4, Honorable Speaker, the efficiency of transport. Finally, Honorable Speaker, the East African states aim to adopt appropriate ways across the border, Honorable Speaker, in transportation modalities to prevent the spread of COVID-19 across our borders, and ensure that drivers that test positive for COVID-19, Honorable Speaker, are properly treated, and to reduce human interaction along the transit corridors, Honorable Speaker. I want to thank you, and then they will submit and table the details in terms of figures and so on of the same statement, Speaker, for your perusal and perusal of the House. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well. A detailed one. So, Honorable Sharif, Abdul Swamad. Yes, what is it, Leader Majority?
Speaker, I think as a House we must make a determination. You know, when somebody seeks a statement, it is important and morally right and decent for him to be here. Otherwise, I think you you need to make a decision on that. I mean, chairs cannot be reading statements, and the people who seek statements are not here. So I think going forward, I think you should ask if the person is not here, then the statement should just be tabled here, then that person reads here. I mean, I thought at the summit,
yes,
unless he's playing politics, this was his pet subject. In fact, he has asked 3 statements relating to the same matter. So if it's a serious, and I want the people of Vita to listen to me, if your member is very serious, you should have been here. Now the chair has written, said a very comprehensive statement. The first person you have given opportunity is him. Secondly, just before Honorable Koinange sit down, it was a member for Madare. He seeked a statement, he is not here.
Well,
and I think the one for the relief.
Whereas I agree with you, the leader of majority, these are extraordinary times. So sometimes members could be in other holding areas. And again, and most importantly, really, we will still proceed and have the response to the statement, because once they ask, it ceases to be their own request. It becomes a property of the House. But what I am going to do is to instruct the clerk and the office of the clerk to make sure that all members who are supposed to receive statement responses must be informed, because we might be accusing them. I can assure you, many members would be very happy to be sitting here and listening to the statement being responded to, but sometimes they have no idea that's going to come. So I want to say these are extraordinary times. Let's treat them a bit more lenient. But most importantly, let all members whose statements are due to be responded to be informed. And that is a directive, so that we can be able to move in a better manner. But since the matter is before the House, I'll give 2 members, and 2 members only, starting with the leader of minority. And then, do I get an indication that Honorable Sabina Chege, you want to say something to this? Okay, so the 2 of you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for...
Yes, I have seen that request. Probably, it will be closer home. Proceed, Leader Minority.
I thank you for the direction that you have given regarding those who have sought statements need to be informed when the statements will be answered, so that they make themselves available, and they can even request to be considered for allocation of seats, because remember, Mr. Speaker, we are only sitting here about 60 of us, and those who are sitting in the next room are also equally not many. But having said that, Mr. Speaker, this is a matter of national importance, and I thank the chair for bringing this report, because it has caused a lot of heat, especially in the coastal region. What exactly is the thinking of the government? And 2, and finally, when you are changing a policy, there are people who are going to be adversely affected by that policy. There are people who are earning a living through the transportation. That inefficient system that you are talking about had created livelihood for some people. So there is need for the government to come up with a strategy of how do we help those Kenyans who are earning livelihood through this system. How are you going to make sure that they continue earning their life, especially at this difficult time? So, Mr. Speaker, those 2 issues,
okay.
I don't know whether the committee
I think you have
considered.
gone the right direction, and I think members should pick from this, that when a statement is read, what you should be doing is seeking clarifications. Some members find themselves now, contributing to the statement rather than seeking clarification. So we go to Mishimboko. What is it, Honorable Metito? It's very unlike you to rise on a point of order.
It's very true. It's very unlikely. I respect colleagues. But, Mr. Speaker, the very able leader of minority have said something that should not really go into the records of this House. Because he said there is a funny character collecting signatures here. And I think these are honorable members, Mr. Speaker. So, a funny character collecting signatures here That is the meaning of a member, Mr. Speaker. So it is, I would request you that you rule it is out of order.
Well, really, leader of minority, we really don't need to go very far with this. There are no characters here. They can only be members of parliament. So I really don't know whether we should take a lot of time on it.
This is, first of all, I want to tell my good friend, Honorable Metito, that Honorable Member cannot be a funny character. I've never met Honorable Member collecting signatures, but I met some funny character. So you should have asked me, where did I meet the funny character? It doesn't have to be in the chamber, doesn't have to be in parliament. Probably I met this funny character in the streets collecting signatures. So why is he making assumption that I'm referring to a honorable member? I've actually not met any honorable members collecting signatures to remove anybody. I just met funny characters.
So, Honorable Mishi Boko, what is it, leader majority? I thought you have made a request to contribute to this. So you allow us to give Honorable Mishi. You are actually the one who said that she should be given, and then I'll come to you very quickly. In fact, I want you to be the last one. So I might even give an extra member, and you be the last one, to summarize. No, but not necessarily, that does not mean it's going to be Honorable Nyikal. Proceed, Honorable Mishi. What is the number of your seat, Honorable Mishi? We seem to have an issue with the system, I'm told. So probably you need to come forward here to the dispatch box or the dispatch area. I think the box was removed.
Asante sana Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, hata mimi nimesimama hapa kutaka kumwongelesha ama kuongea na mwenyekiti wa kamati ya uchukuzi. Swala hili nafikiri Mheshimiwa Abdulswamad Sharif Nassir aliweza kuuliza swali kwa sababu jambo hili limekuwa na utata mkubwa sana. Kama alivyosema mwenyekiti, tuliweza kuwa na mkutano wajumbe wa kutoka Pwani wakiongozwa na wa Mombasa pamoja na kamati ya uchukuzi. Na pia vile pia tukawa na mkutano pamoja na Rais Mheshimiwa Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta kwa swala hili. Kwa hakika swala hili ni swala nyeti na ni swala ambalo limeharibu ajira nyingi sana ya watu wa Pwani kwa jumla na hata wa Kenya kwa jumla. Na swala hili wakati kulipotolewa ile tunasema Kiingereza directive ya kusema ya kwamba zile shehena zote lazima ziende kule Naivasha. Na wakati swala hili tulipolizungumzia tuliweza kuambiwa ya kwamba maagizo kama haya ama hizi directives ziliweza kutolewa na ikawa ya kwamba kazi zitaendelea kama zilivyokuwa zikifanyika. Lakini baada ya muda mfupi tu tumekuja kuona ya kwamba swala lile limerudi vile vile. Wakati tunauliza tunaambiwa ya kwamba ni kwa sababu ya janga la COVID-19. Kweli tunajua COVID-19 iko pale. Lakini swala lolote lingekuwa watu waitwe mkutano ama wafanye ile Kiingereza tunasema public participation, na tuambiwe ya kwamba directives hizi zimerudi kwa sababu ya COVID na zimerudi kivipi na ni kwa muda gani, na ikiwa zimerudi, je, tutaweza kufanya njia nyingine mbadala gani ambazo zinaweza kusaidia wakazi wa Pwani na hata wa Kenya kwa jumla. Okay. Kwa hakika Bwana Spika, swala hili bado halijamalizika na majibu ambayo ameyatoa mwenyekiti bado hayajakuwa na ufasaha na bado hawajalieleza jambo hili kwa undani. Kwa hivyo bado tunataka Mheshimiwa Waziri aweze kuleta kikao ama kuja katika bunge ama kwa njia nyingine yote kuweza kuzungumzia swala hili, kwa sababu swala hili ni tata, ni swala nyeti na bado mpaka sasa kuna ile sitofahamu. Ni hivi hakuna mwelekeo. Asante Bwana Spika.
That's enough. And Honorable Leader of Minority, he said swala nyeti, not swala nyati. You have to be very clear on that one. Okay, Leader of Majority.
Mr. Speaker, I really want to thank the chair of Transport. You know, we need, as the leader of minority said, we need to balance. We can't build a railway all the way and planning to build all the way to Kisumu and don't carry anything. times changes. The way in the old days, there are times when people used to use camel transport, where I come from. And now sometimes they use different means. So I think as a country, we can't build a railway, but we must also do the public participation. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, if you allow me, I think the Speaker made a communication. I really wanted as a leader to say this very clearly. The Speaker made a communication in 2016. If you don't have a copy, I have a copy in my office, on how to collect signatures. You don't collect signatures in the corridors, in the car park. You put your argument on the reception. Members listen, and then they sign for you. And I really agree. So those who are purporting to collect signatures, first you're violating the procedure of the House. Secondly, you cannot impeach, and this is for record, you cannot impeach a minister for a decision of the cabinet. You cannot impeach a minister for a decision of East Africa heads of state. The impeachment must be in tandem with the role and the function of that minister as specified in the Constitution. So I think I don't want to go to the character, but I want to educate the young members. Please read, and I think I'm ready to give a copy of that communication. It was after Anwar Guru's impeachment of 2016.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. You know, the majority leader is my good friend and my senior in politics. But, Mr. Speaker, the debate is canvassing this House. It's not before this House, Mr. Speaker. So let us, maybe if actually it's my first time to learn that there are signatures being collected. But, Mr. Speaker, honestly, because we have a lot of business to transact, I don't think it is necessary to dwell on issues that are not before this House, Mr. Speaker.
Yes. Well, makes perfect sense, but at least the leader of majority has put down his thought on that. So, so you wind up leader majority because we really have a.
No, I have I have a lot of respect for Honorable Kathuri, but Chair, when you hold a position of a responsibility like Honorable myself and Honorable Mbandi, sometimes it's good to educate our colleagues. It was out of procedure. And that's why I said the other day, when the Speaker makes a communication, even the first Speaker, the second Speaker, no. I mean, that's also procedural. But I'm saying, even Speaker Kaparo's communication, even Speaker, I think the first Speaker, all communications must be respected.
Now, honorable members, let's stick to our standing orders. We must stick to relevance. I can see many members there making other issues. Let's leave it. We have a heavy morning. Honorable Nyikal, please, next time. Let's have the transport chair responding. We have a heavy morning. We will be doing the Committee of Supply, and we are actually fairly late.
I thank you, Honorable Speaker. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. And again, I want to thank also honorable members who made their comments, and specifically colleagues from Mombasa, Honorable Mishimbogo, who I trust, and we have engaged ourselves on this matter. But Honorable Speaker, let me be very clear once again. This new COVID-19 order, Honorable Speaker, does not affect what was set aside. I think there's a confusion, Honorable Speaker. And there's a narrative being built. But there's a confusion, Honorable Speaker, that the order that was agreed by heads of state in the entire East Africa, Honorable Speaker, on transit goods, it doesn't affect local goods, Honorable Speaker. That was to treat and mitigate, Honorable Speaker, on COVID-19. I want to plead with our honorable members to understand that this is a different one. The one honorable members that we engaged from Coast, that was issued by KRA and KPA, that was set aside, and it is still aside, honorable members, Honorable Speaker, for the country. That is still aside. Let us not confuse, Honorable Speaker. And my committee is willing and ready. If you want to re-engage again on that was suspended, Honorable Speaker, we are ready. But this is a different order, Honorable Speaker, and a different directive that was being addressed. But Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, it wasn't an individual directive from the Honorable Minister. It wasn't. It was just only, Honorable Speaker, implementing an executive direction from heads of state, Honorable Speaker. So let us not confuse, because sometimes when you bring that issue and we misunderstand that it's from an individual, it brings a problem, Honorable Speaker. But I thank honorable members for that concern. I've taken the notes on behalf of the committee, and we can engage this matter, Honorable Speaker, as we build our country. I thank you.
Very well. Honorable Sabina Chege to respond to the statement by the Honorable Peter Masara.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to respond to the statement that from Honorable Peter Masana, MP Suna West constituency, regarding the measures to mitigate risk facing residents at border counties with regard to the spread and management of COVID-19. And towards the end of my response, Mr. Speaker, there are some guidelines that I would like to table before this House. The question, Mr. Speaker, was on what measures the government has put in place to seal all loopholes that may trigger the spread of virus.
Honorable Sabina, I would really hate to be unfair to you, but what you do is do it in summary, so that you can do more in responding, because I know that will be an area where there will be a lot of interest on issues COVID. Okay. Proceed, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The first question was measures the government has put in place to seal all loopholes that may trigger the spread of virus in border counties such as Migori County. Honorable Speaker, the Ministry of Health and the county governments at the border regions have been working closely with each other to ensure that the virus does not spread, especially from the neighboring countries. And for the last 3 months, there has been constant consultation among the East Africa partner states, whose objective is to enhance common regional approach in implementation of COVID-19 response measures. And all the partner states recognize that international movement of goods from the coast to inland destination is a key essential service in the region. However, there is growing concern over truck drivers who form a very big proportion of confirmed asymptomatic cases of disease, and therefore pose a huge risk for further spread of the disease. It was therefore agreed that cross-border surveillance to be strengthened and harmonized common protocols, particularly focusing on testing of truck drivers, be applied across the entire region. And there is an attached, which I'm going to table, the East Africa COVID-19 testing protocol. The 6th presidential address of 16th May 2020 directed that there should be no movement at the borders apart from the cargo vehicles. This was echoed by neighboring countries, except Tanzania, in which movement is still allowed. Other measures to contain COVID-19 in the border countries include: 1, new measures of handling truckers at the border points. And the movement of cargo has remained open. This means that the movement of truckers from country to country may pose a risk of transmission. And therefore, the Ministry of Health has developed a protocol where the drivers should have a COVID-19 negative certificate prior to boarding their trucks. And Kenya Ports Authority is not supposed to release any cargo to anyone without it. The abuse of this protocol is resulting to pile-up of travelers, where the testing has to be done at the border points. Below, there's a table which outlines the number of truck drivers who have been tested so far at the border points. The East Africa developed protocols that govern the inter-country movement of the cargo, and Kenya being a signatory and follows the agreed protocols, neighboring countries have been sensitized as per the East Africa protocol to facilitate their truck drivers to test prior to travel, which will ensure that there is no waiting for results at the borders, as this could cause congestion and unnecessary interaction, and I think we have seen this happening, Mr. Speaker, therefore posing a risk of COVID-19 infection among the infections. The draft testing protocols are currently being finalized by East African Secretariat in consultation with technical experts from the respective East Africa member states. And there is also an attachment of East Africa COVID-19 testing protocol and attestation certificate. They are also utilizing the Nyumba Kumi initiative, where through this initiative, the border population has been sensitized to identify foreigners whose origin is unknown and report to the authorities for appropriate action. There are also quarantine and isolation centers. All the borders counties have been instructed to identify quarantine and isolation centers for any cases that they may have been exposed and suspect of confirmed cases. Second question on what measures the government is putting in place to control movement of people across the common porous border between Kenya and Tanzania. Honorable Speaker, regional commissioners and county commissioners are working in conjunction with the regional commissioners across the border to ensure COVID-19 prevention measures are implemented. The Ministry of Health is therefore working closely with the regional commissioners to ensure no prohibited movement. Most agency roadblocks are mounted as strategic areas to ensure that no one gains in-road access without proper authority and that any movement is through the official border crossings. The Nyumba Kumi initiative is also in place, and communities have been empowered to report any foreigners among them. There are also cross-border surveillance mechanisms between counties and both sides of the border that are monitoring the screening for COVID-19. There is also community education on prevention measures, which is also ongoing. The other question was on measures the government is putting in place to ensure that border counties, particularly Migori County, has the capacity in terms of health facilities, equipment, and personnel to be in position to effectively handle COVID-19 cases. Honorable Speaker, all counties have been tasked to identify quarantine or isolation or treatment centers that are capable of handling COVID-19 cases. Migori County has identified Makalda Sub-County Hospital in Nyatike as a treatment center with a capacity of 17 occupants and adequate staff to have been deployed. 3 quarantine centers have also been identified for the general public and 1 for the health workers. The national government has trained various officers to collect samples from different points within the country and have them forwarded to Kemri, Kisumu for further analysis. A rapid response team is also available at Migori County for the collection of people diagnosed with COVID-19 and also to further quarantine contacts of positive cases. So far, we have 26 cases that have been confirmed at Migori, 9 of whom are Kenyans. The rest are Tanzanians who were handed over to Tanzania authorities. Among the Kenyans, 2 have recovered and have been discharged. The additional information is that we also have, the country has total bed capacity of ICU, 518 of them. They are distributed in both public and private health facilities across various counties, and there is a table outlining the distribution of ICU beds in the country in this report. Nairobi topping with 258, Uasin Gishu with 55, Mombasa with 36, Mugoma with 23, Kisumu with 21, Kiambu with 19, Nakuru 19, these are ICU beds, Nyeri 14, Kisii 13, Kakamega 9, Garissa 6, Kwale 6, Meru 6, Narok 6, Embu 5, Kericho 5, Machakos 5, Kirinyaga 4, Makueni 4, Murang'a 4, with a grand total coming to 518 ICU beds. On COVID-19 protocols, on COVID-19 protocols, following the World Health Organization notification of COVID-19 pandemic, Kenya, through various national technical task force subcommittees, have embarked on developing protocols to facilitate effective response to the disease. The protocols cover key thematic areas crucial to the management of pandemic. The protocols will be updated continuously based on the evolution of the pandemic and any new findings from the ongoing scientific studies. Mr. Speaker, I'll therefore table several protocols today. The first one is a draft harmonized testing guideline for COVID-19 for the East African region. I also have the Ministry of Health interim guidance on handling of human remains infected with COVID-19 in Kenya. And this document, Mr. Speaker, will guide all mortuaries, both public and private, on the guidelines on how to do that. Mr. Speaker, on this one, I want to mention that we have had several Kenyans and families harassed by the health facilities, and especially when a person passes on who is COVID-19 positive. This has led to undue stress. Mr. Speaker, we have seen people being forced to bury at night, and it is important for now Kenyans to know that when somebody dies of COVID-19, there is no need to hurry to bury, and so families are given opportunity for them to observe their culture and their religion, so that we should not have any case of a family being forced to bury. And unfortunately, Madam Speaker, we've had one of our members here who was forced to bury a parent at night. And Honorable Speaker, unfortunately, the test that had been done was the wrong test. And I can say today that we have confirmed that later when we have raised the issue with the government, we have discovered that the hospital that purported to test the mother of one of our colleagues gave wrong information that the mother was positive, COVID positive. And so just later when we have done, the family requested for a second test. It has come out negative. The government took samples and actually it was negative. So it is important for the hospitals and health facilities to actually follow the protocols and especially even on testing. There's also a protocol of interim infection prevention and control recommendation for coronavirus disease 2019 in healthcare settings. And I'm also going to table the guidelines on rational use of PPPs equipment for COVID-19 in healthcare settings. I'm also tabling a comprehensive guideline on mental health and psychosocial support during the COVID-19 pandemic. And yes, I think those are the protocols that I'll table today, Madam Speaker. But I want to urge, especially our members, because the public look upon us and they would want sometimes to seek for advice. If something is not clear, get in touch with the ministry immediately and let us not allow the people who are affected by COVID. You know, there's stigma around it, whether it's dead or the people who have been released to go back home. It is important, Madam Speaker, that we let the public know that once a person is released from hospital and has been confirmed COVID negative, they cannot transmit the virus because they're already negative. And so we should embrace them and treat them normally. And for the ones that they are keen, have passed on with COVID positive, they should be given time to bury their person with decency, and we should not even have any of those night burials that have been done, Madam Speaker. I submit.
You can table, and thank you. We're sorry for the mother of the honorable member and the public. You can table, honorable. No, because it was a very detailed presentation by the honorable, and I'm sure she's tabling. I urge all the members to be able to pick a copy procedurally of the same, but I can only give one. And members, you are aware of the business that is ahead of us. Let me hear the leader of my minority.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, let me first start by thanking the chair of the Health Committee. I think, remember, previously we talked about the chair giving weekly statement on this issue, and I think the chair is living to that, and that is commendable. I want to congratulate you, Chair, that you are proving to be up to the task of informing this House and the people of Kenya in terms of our preparedness, what is taking place, and what needs to be done. But Chair, Madam Speaker, I have two issues that I wanted to touch on. First, Madam Speaker, I think us politicians are failing Kenyans big time. Madam Speaker, this morning I was listening to a vernacular radio station, and I got to hear that some 27 Kenyans left Mombasa with a body, and they did not even take the requisite papers. They did not get the requisite papers and decided to bribe their way. And they confessed, and you could hear them confessing that that's what they did. Traveled all the way to Siaya. Fortunately, the administration in Siaya got wind and got hold of these guys. They were tested, and one turned out to be positive, but later. But Madam Speaker, what caught my attention is that two members of parliament who are not mentioned, one from Siaya County, another one from Mombasa County, kept on pressurizing the authorities to release these 27 people who were put in quarantine to go back to Mombasa. And that is exactly what the administration did. Released these people. They traveled all the way to Mombasa. Before they reached, when they arrived in Mombasa, is when the results came out that one of them was COVID positive. Madam Speaker, that is carelessness and recklessness of the highest order on the part of our leaders. If it is true that you can make calls to expose the lives of many Kenyans to danger just because of your personal political interests. So I am shocked, and I would want to know some of these two members of parliament who made the calls. But Madam Speaker, finally, I also want to tell the chair, because you have constant interaction with the authorities, more particularly the cabinet secretary responsible for health, who has done so well so far, that there is need to be clear coordination of how these cases of COVID are treated in this country, especially burial. Even cases which are not COVID positive, those who have died from other ailments, the way the government is treating, there should be no panic when someone dies in this country at this point in time, Madam Speaker. Much as we should be cautious, there is no reason at all why the administration should panic, tell people you have to bury within 2 hours. Why can't they handle the bodies with care, ask the people who are concerned to arrange burial within a very short time, but reasonably so that the people who are mourning have the opportunity also, Madam Speaker, to give a decent burial, however few they are, and it has been communicated. You don't need to congregate more than 30 people, or I think they're talking about 15, but 20, even 30 could be good enough. So, Madam Speaker, as I conclude,
yes, please.
We need coordination of how to what we are seeing in this country, Madam Speaker, if you allow me, is a case where some people are treated specially, others are treated with carelessness. It's like if you are poor, then you should bury your people differently. Those who are known take even a week, even 2 weeks. I even see it in our village. There are people who take 2 weeks with the body before it's buried. The body is buried. Others you bury the same day. What is this discrimination all about? And Madam Speaker, you know we are leaders. We also need to, as we castigate the government, you should also give us time to talk to our people. Madam Speaker, and I want to say, some of our people are also misbehaving. Like, even if someone is so popular, God forbid, this is a time that you cannot congregate in thousands and escorting the body in a procession, and you don't even have masks, like what I saw in Kisumu. Much as we are condemning what the administration did, the police did, of even burying at night and chasing people like rats. But if you saw the people who are attending that funeral, over 90% didn't have masks. And Mr. Speaker, it is carelessness. We are exposing ourselves.
Very well.
Madam Speaker, with those many remarks, I thank the chair.
Thank you. Thank you, the leader of minority. I think you've spoken for most of us. And the chair, Departmental Committee on Health, is listening and taking note on this. And I'm sure most of the members are represented. Where is Honorable Masara? Is he in the house? Because he had sought the statement. The Honorable, Honorable Peter Masara is not in. Honorable Jeanette, you're holding brief.
I'm holding brief.
Thank
you, Madam Speaker.
We don't
Madam
hold
Speaker.
briefs, but since you come from the same area.
Not the same area, we are neighboring constituencies.
Yes,
The
Suna
question
East
of-
and Suna West.
Yeah, and we all border Tanzania,
Yes, you
where,
can just make a
where the
comment.
Member of Parliament was complaining about. Madam Speaker, I want first to thank the Chair of the Health Committee for the answers that she gave us today. But Madam Speaker, the issue I wanted to raise is, as you are aware, in Tanzania there are no measures about corona. In fact, they have declared themselves corona-free. To them, corona is over, done and gone. Madam Speaker, corona is still in Kenya, as per President Makuvuli's statement. So people are coming from Tanzania because the borders are not closed. Now the issue I was raising is, initially when corona appeared in this country, it was thought to be a Nairobi affair, a disease that will only stay in Nairobi with us. Now, as you can see, it has spread all over the counties. So I want now to urge the Ministry of Health to even though health is a devolved function, that is counties that are supposed to deal, but this is a pandemic. This is a serious disease that counties were unable to deal with malaria and typhoid. Now you add them corona, they will just close shop. So, Madam Speaker, I was urging the chair lady that through her, the ministry now to take serious counties in terms of fighting corona. And especially the border counties like where I come from, Because, Madam Speaker, the influx of people every day from the Tanzanian side is too high.
Very
And
well.
you know, our police are not also taking this thing very serious at the border level. There's a lot of people crossing. So we want resources, more resources now taken to the counties so that we can fight the disease at that level of the county. Thank you,
Very well,
Madam Speaker.
Honorable Junet, thank you. I know, and I've seen the chair has taken notes on this, and maybe she'll be able to come back to us with more information. And of course, after consulting and taking our views to the ministry. Members, because it was just a comment, and most of the paperwork was tabled, I do order that we go to the next order. Next order.
Order number 8, Committee of Supply, first allotted day.
Honorable members, now we are the Committee of the Whole House, Committee of Supply on the budget estimates for the financial year 2020-2021. We will be fairly fast, so members, please be very attentive.
Vote 1011, Executive Office of the President.
Honorable members, I propose the question, which is that sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 36,507,965,986 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet recurrent and development expenditure during the financial year 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1011. Yes, what is it, Leader Majority?
Chair, I really want the chairman of Budget and Appropriation Committee, before you begin, because we have a supplementary order paper. If we can table the letter from the Minister for Finance and the justification in line with the executive order number 2020. So it's about realignment within that executive order.
Okay.
So for record purposes, I think it's important the chair table those two documents.
No, with the difficulties in sitting arrangements, where is the chair of budget? There you are. Member for Kikuyu. Did you say we now have a chair called Mary, or what did you say again?
Honorable Chair, I said Chair Emeritus.
Oh, okay.
Honorable Chair, indeed, let me thank the Leader of Majority, because indeed, members, you notice that there is a
But now that should not go on record, Honorable Ishungwa, because if you bring in the issue of that title you are giving yourself, it will become difficult for us to now.
Have I given myself any title? The Leader of Minority, the Minority Whip is the one who was mentioning those terms.
So proceed, but I consider that the position
the
you are
chair
getting is from budget.
that the Leader of Majority was referring to.
What is it, Leader of Majority?
Chair, unless he withdraws that, then
yes,
he loses the moral authority to transact that business. For the moment he is emeritus, that means he's no longer the chair of budget.
Yes, and
so he needs to withdraw that if he has to transact that business.
Well, since
much obliged, Chair.
You don't even need to withdraw. It will be ignored, because as far as we are concerned, we do not have any information on that particular title you are talking about. So whether you withdraw or not, we will ignore. So it will be expunged from record. that emeritus thing is expired. So we can now proceed to other things. Yeah. So,
thank you, Chair. But just for the record, let me withdraw.
Yes.
I was just, it was on a light note referring to what the minority whip was whispering here,
Yes.
together with Honorable Mule, the member for Honorable Mule. Honorable Chair, I was saying, let me thank the leader of majority, because indeed, members will notice that there is a supplementary order paper which has a schedule that will reflect different figures from what was there in the original schedule that was passed in the report. And this is occasioned, Honorable Speaker, by changes that are contained in this letter that I will table, Honorable Speaker, basically which are occasioned by the executive order from His Excellency the President that moved certain votes from one ministry to the other and others from certain departments. And all the changes, Honorable Speaker, are reflected in this table, in the table attached, or rather the schedule attached. And I wish to table this letter, letter dated June 8th from the Cabinet Secretary, National Treasury, Ambassador Ukuri Atani, that has contained the public service, the head of public service letter that communicated the executive order number 1 of 2020. And Honorable Speaker, all the changes that members will notice in the schedules will be reflected in this letter.
That is okay. Now, the effect of that, Order Honorable Amalwa, the effect of what the chair budget is tabling is to justify the need for the supplementary order paper, and secondly, to remove the issues of amendments in due course. So that clarifies that bit. But what is it, Honorable Amalwa? And we really must move now.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Well, what is it? Honorable.
Yeah, Mike. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, we're on the committee of supply, and the leader of majority was very clear in terms of explanation for clarity purposes. How I wish, Mr. Speaker, that the chair of budget should have just gone specific in terms of figures, because when he was moving, he was very specific in terms of not more than 36 billion. So what is the implication in terms of figures? Because he has just tabled, and we're interested in figures at this particular time, Mr. Speaker.
Well,
will I be in order to request him, if possible, to highlight, because we don't have the details, Mr. Speaker.
You don't need to do that. All you need to do is to catch up with the supplementary paper, because the figures that I'm picking myself are from the supplementary paper, and the correct figures.
We don't have it.
So you probably need a supplementary paper. And in any case, it's online. You could actually go to the gadget in front of you. Okay. Let's proceed. So I had already proposed the question. So I will allow two members if. So let me proceed and put the question. I put the question, which is that. What is it?
I call the programs.
Okay, call the specific programs.
Programs under vote 1011, Cabinet Affairs, Government Advisory Services, State House Affairs, and Deputy President Services.
So I propose a question, which is that programs under vote 1011 as read out and sums allocated in the schedule be approved.
Put the question.
What is it? Yes, let me hear from you just before I put the question. Yes, proceed. What is the number of your chair? 112.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to confirm, because from the reading of the programs, is left out Nairobi Metropolitan Services. Is it one of the programs?
That's a real good pick from, that must be Dr. Makali.
Yes.
Makes it better when you are seated there. You better read that one.
Nairobi Metropolitan Services.
Okay, that clarifies everything. So Can I proceed to put the question?
Yes.
I put the question, which is that programs under vote 1011 as read out and the sum allocated in the schedule be approved. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And I now put the question, which is that a sum not exceeding 36,507,965,986 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet recurrent development expenditure during the financial year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1011. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Vote 1021, the State Department for Interior and Citizen Services.
I propose the question, which is that sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 132,114,231,363 be issued from consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the recurrent and development expenditure during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1021.
Programs under vote 1021. Policing services, planning, policy, coordination, and support service, government printing service, migration and citizen services management, road safety, and population management services.
And I propose a question, which is that the programs under vote 1021 as read out and some allocated in the schedule be approved.
Put the question.
I put the question, which is that programs under vote 1021 as read out in the sum and the sums allocated in the schedule be approved. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the global question, which is that the sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 132,114,231,363 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet recurrent and development expenditure during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect to vote 1021. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Vote 1023, State Department for Correctional Services.
Jailer.
I propose the question, which is that a sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 28,101,978,572 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the recurrent and development expenditure during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1023.
Programs under vote 1023, Correctional Services and General Administration Planning and Support Services.
I propose the question, which is that the programs under vote 1023 as read out and some allocated in the schedule be approved. I put the question, which is that the programs under vote 1023 as read out and the sum allocated in the schedule be approved. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And I now put the question, which is that the sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 28,101,978,572 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the recurrent and development expenditure during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect to vote 1023. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Vote 1032, State Department for Devolution.
I propose the question, which is that sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 5,664,864,121 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the recurrent and development expenditure during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect to vote 1032. 1032 actually.
Programs under vote 1032, Devolution Services, General Administration Planning and Support Services, and Special Initiatives.
And I propose a question, which is that the programs under vote 1032 as read out and some allocated in the schedule be approved. I put the question, which is that the programs under vote 1032 as read out and some allocated in the schedule be now approved. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. And I now put the question, which is that some not exceeding Kenya shillings 5,664,864,121 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the recurrent and development expenditure during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1032. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Vote 1035, State Department for Development of the ASO.
I propose the question, which is that a sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 9,804,725,560 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the necessary, the sum necessary to meet the recurrent and development expenditure during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1035.
Program under vote 1035, Accelerated ASO Development.
I propose the question, which is that programs under vote 1035 as read out and the sum allocated in the schedule be approved. I put the question, which is that the programs under vote 1035 as read out and the sum allocated in the schedule be approved. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. And I now put the question, which is that a sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 9,804,725,560 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the recurrent and development expenditure during the year 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1035. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Vote 1041, Minister of Defense.
I propose a question, which is that sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 115,481,550,805 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the recurrent and development expenditure during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect to vote 1041.
Programs under vote 1041, Defense, Civil Aid, General Administration, Planning and Support Services, and National Space Management.
I propose a question, which is that the programs under vote 1041 as read out and the sum allocated in the schedule be now approved. I put the question, which is that programs under vote 1041 as read out and the sum allocated in the schedule be approved. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as our contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. And I put the question, which is that the sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 115,481,550,805 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet recurrent and development expenditure during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect to vote 1041. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Vote 1052, Minister of Foreign Affairs.
I propose a question, which is that sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 15,757,171,675 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet recurrent and development expenditure during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect to vote 1052.
Programs under vote 1052.
Just a minute. What is it? Is that the Honorable Metito?
Chair,
Yes, that is Honorable Metito, the chair But he has not
Sure,
even proposed a program. Can you allow us to propose a program and I
fine,
give you?
fine.
Propose the programs.
Programs under vote 1052, General Administration, Planning and Support Services, Foreign Relation and Diplomacy, Economic and Commercial Diplomacy, and Foreign Policy Research, Capacity Development, and Technical Cooperation.
So I propose a question which is that programs under vote 1052 as read out and the sum allocated in the schedule be approved. Now, Honorable Matito.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, on behalf of the Committee on Defense and Foreign Relations, and I can see two distinguished members are in this chamber, the Honorable Vice Chairman and Honorable Mwadhi, member for Limuru. It is the considered opinion of this committee that the budget for this ministry, the whole of vote 1052, be ring-fenced for the following reason, Mr. Chairman. This is a vote that is always about traveling in the diaspora. It's about missions, Mr. Chairman. And every time when we have the austerity measures, they cut across all ministries. And this ministry, Mr. Chairman, gets most affected. Like the ongoing financial year, personal emoluments were reduced by 7%, O&M were reduced by about 21%, and the most affected areas, Mr. Chairman, are our missions abroad. We were even proposing as a committee that a vote for Kenyans in distress abroad be provided for all missions, Mr. Chairman. Like when you look right now during this COVID-19, so many Kenyans are suffering there, but these missions, they do not have such a vote, Mr. Chairman. But the biggest request of the committee is that through you, Chairman, if this budget, vote 1052, could be ring-fenced so that it is protected from the normal austerity measures that will come along during the financial year, I think it will help this ministry, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
How do you propose it to be ring-fenced? Because what you are doing, and you know you are a seasoned member, legislator, you know we cannot do it at this point, especially on this particular, committee on supply. I am trying to wonder whether we are going to do it at the finance bill or whatever, but definitely not here. What you have achieved here is to actually create an awareness. There is a need for some way of dealing it. And I see the Honorable Dr. Makali, who has been a member of budget for, let me hear what his thoughts are on this one. I'll give you, Honorable Metito. Let's hear Honorable Makali first.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I think the request is quite genuine, but I think as you are saying, it's coming at the wrong time. This would have been done when we were doing either the budget report, so that it comes captured in our report. And the only thing which can happen now is once it gets the resources, is just to possibly do a letter to Treasury, which will also be very difficult because basically the reason why we don't ring-fence most of the resources is because if you don't collect, you can't release. And I think really this should have come out of the budgeting process when we were doing the budget committee report.
Yes, Honorable Tongi, and probably we then proceed because really our hands are tied as far as we are all concerned. Honorable Tongi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. I hear where my chairman is coming from, Honorable Metito, and it's the concern of the committee that the Minister of Foreign Affairs, most of the time, Mr. Speaker, is confused for traveling for the sake of traveling. Yet their main core function is actually to do represent Kenya out there, and it's the face of the country. And therefore, we thought that most of the times when somebody sits in the office and they are looking at the traveling expense, the natural place to go to is Ministry of Foreign Affairs because they don't appreciate the challenges that Ministry of Foreign Affairs has. Okay. So we hear your comment, Mr. Speaker, that probably it is not the best forum to bring that issue. But it's also important for the colleagues to understand and appreciate that
this challenge is there, and the function of Minister of Foreign Affairs is out there, outside the country. And once they appreciate that, so that when my chairman moves the proposal to ring-fence this budget, nobody will be taken by surprise and say, why are we doing this? And yet, these are people who are busybodies, for lack of a better word, moving all over the country.
I hear you. What I'm wondering is whether really there would be even need to ring-fence it. All there is a need for is to make sure that everybody understands the basic workings of every ministry. Now, if, for example, we needed to deal with issues internal security, there are issues which are just by virtue of that office is handling certain matters and therefore will be catered for. So I think you definitely have been heard. You have been heard. So we'll proceed and put the question. I think we are okay there.
Thank you.
So I put the question, which is that programs under vote 1052 as read out and the sum allocated in the schedule be approved. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And I put the question, which is that sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 15,757,171,675 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the recurrent and development expenditure during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1052. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Vote 1064, State Department for Vocational and Technical Training.
And I propose the question, which is that the sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 24,905,903,522 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the necessary sum necessary to meet the recurrent and development expenditure during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1064.
Programs under vote 1064, Technical Vocational Education and Training, Youth Training and Development, and General Administration, Planning and Support Services.
I propose the question, which is that programs under vote 1064 as read out and the sum allocated in the schedule be approved. What is it, Honorable Makali? You do not even place your...
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I want to be very brief. This is the voted where we have the TTIs. I just want to say, Mr. Chairman, this House must ensure there is fairness in the way these TTIs are being distributed in the country. I submit, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. That you are heard. So I put the question, which is that programs under vote 1064 as read out and the sum allocated in the schedule be approved. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Any as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And I now put the question, which is that sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 24,905,903,522 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the recurrent and development expenditure during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect to vote 1064. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Whip, can you help? Vote 1065, State Department for University Education.
Very well, and I propose a question, which is that the sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 113,132,758,547 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet recurrent and development expenditure during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1065.
Programs under vote 1065, University Education, Research, Science, Technology and Innovation, and General Administration, Planning and Support Services.
Very well. So I propose a question, which is that the programs under vote 1065 as read out and the sum allocated in the schedule be approved. I put the question, which is that the programs under vote 1065 as read out and the sum allocated in the schedule be approved. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And I now put the question, which is that the sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 113,132,758,547 be, as read out, be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the recurrent and development expenditure during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1065. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Vote 1066.
Aye.
State Department for Early Learning and Basic Education.
And I propose a question, which is that the sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 100,818,982,114 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the recurrent and development expenditure during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1066.
Programs under vote 1066. Primary education, secondary education, quality assurance and standards, and general administration planning and support services.
Very well. And I propose a question, which is the program under vote 1066 as read out and the sum allocated in the schedule be approved. I put the question, which is that the programs under vote 1066 as read out and the sum allocated in the schedule be approved. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
And as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And I put the question, which is that sum not exceeding 100,818,982,114 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the recurrent and development expenditure during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect to vote 1066. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Vote 1068. State Department for Post-Training and Skills Development.
So I propose the question, which is that the sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 150,940,126 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the recurrent and development expenditure during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect to vote 1068.
Programs under vote 1068, general administration planning and support services, workplace readiness services, and post-training information management.
I propose a question, which is that programs under vote 1068 as read out and the sum allocated in the schedule be approved. I put the question, which is that programs under vote 1068 as read out and the sum allocated in the schedule be approved. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And I now put the question, which is that a sum not exceeding 150,940,126 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet recurrent and development expenditure during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1068. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Vote 1071, the National Treasury.
I propose the question, which is the sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 116,979,273,493 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the recurrent and development expenditure during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1071.
Programs under vote 1071, general administration, planning and support services, public financial management, economic and financial policy formulation and management, market competition, and government clearing services.
Very well. And I propose a question, which is that programs under vote 1071 as read out and the sum allocated in the schedule be approved. I put the question, which is that the programs under vote 1071 as read out and the sum allocated in the schedule be approved. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question, which is that the sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 116,979,273,493 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the recurrent and development expenditure during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1071. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Vote 1072, State Department for Planning.
And I propose the question, which is that sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 45,467,129,509 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the recurrent and development expenditure during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1072.
Programs under vote 1072, Economic Policy and National Planning, National Statistical Information Services, Monitoring and Evaluation Services, and General Administration Planning and Support Services.
Very well. I propose a question which is that the programs under vote 1072 as read out and the sum allocated in the schedule be approved. What is it, Honorable Shungwa, the Chairman Budget?
Honorable Speaker, maybe just to inform the House that because I've seen a number of questions as to whether the NGCDF vote was in any way interfered with, just to confirm that we made sure as a Budget and Appropriations Committee that NGCDF remains as it were without the proposed deduction of 9 billion shillings that had been proposed in the annual estimates tabled in this House by the National Treasury. And we brought back the 9 billion shillings to make sure that we are in line and in compliance with the Act as it is. And maybe just to inform the National Treasury, Honorable Speaker, and the Executive that NGCDF is not a fund for members of Parliament. It relates to national government development projects in constituencies, Honorable Speaker, and has nothing to do with members of Parliament. And therefore, it is important that even as we begin the new financial year, Honorable Speaker, if there is anything that will help stimulate the economy, it is money that goes down to our constituencies and to the rural areas. And one of the most efficient and effective funds in terms of getting money to the grassroots is NGCDF. And therefore, I want to ask the National Treasury to ensure that from 2nd of July or 1st of July, Honorable Speaker, exchequer releases to the national government CDF, Honorable Speaker, are done expeditiously to ensure that money trickles down to our grassroots, Honorable Speaker, and help stimulate the economy post-COVID, hopefully in the new financial year, Honorable Speaker, we'll be dealing with a post-COVID economy.
Okay. Lastly, Honorable Shabir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I want to congratulate the Budget Committee for doing that excellent job. But there is also the Aweso Fund, which comes under the same heading, and the Aweso Fund and the others. Yesterday I came from Kisumu. It took over 1 year for the Aweso Fund to be approved. And they approved us a measly 4 million shillings to be given 1 year later. The Aweso Fund itself is also a fund that comes from this, and I'm afraid that I cannot say the same about the Aweso Fund that is here, and I request that the Treasury now tightens up its requirements and tightens up its operation of the Aweso Fund, because that was one of the big four that the President had to stimulate the economy, and the bureaucrats sitting here have really frustrated that particular fund.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, member for Kisumu East. On that note, I put the question, which is that programs under vote 1072 be as read out and the sum allocated in the schedule be approved. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. And as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it, and I now put the question, which is that the sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 45,667,129,509 be issued from consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the recurrent and development expenditure during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1072. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion nay? The ayes have it.
Vote 1081, Minister of Health.
I propose the question, which is that the sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 111 billion 702,668,997 be issued from consolidated fund to compete the sum necessary to meet the recurrent and development expenditure during the year 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1081.
Programs under vote 1081, preventive and promotive and RM, I don't know. National referral and specialized services, health research and development, general administration planning and support services, and health policy standards and regulations.
Very well. So I propose a question which is that programs under vote 1081 as read out and the sum allocated in the schedule be now approved. No, not the chairman now. We'll give the deputy minority leader. The chairman can wait.
These gadgets have a problem.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I just want to say that this issue of health, has always created some confusion because health is a devolved function. But when you listen to the programs that have been listed under this ministry, obviously those are not the things that are being done by the county. So the county governors also have to ensure that they put infrastructure in place during this period so that they can also help the nation. Because we've noticed that only a few counties seem to be prepared for disasters. And I think it's important that county governors play their role in health. Thank you, Chair.
Pukose. Doctari. Wait.
Now, what number is your seat there? Okay, Doctari, proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, as you can see from the budget for health, we also have conditional grants to the level 5 hospitals. We are hoping that this money can be used to better use by the counties, because what we've realized in the past is that some of the counties, they just keep that money and start new projects, or they use the money for other purposes for which it, and make the level 5 hospitals to be short of cash. I think it is a high time that counties must also be held accountable for that money so that it is properly utilized. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Very well, and I put the question, which is that programs under vote 1081 as read out and the sum allocated in the schedule be approved. Will as many as of that?
Chair.
I have not put the question, and I have actually noticed that the Chair Health could say something.
Even me,
no, Chair Budget, no.
Very important, Chair.
Honorable Chege Wanjiru.
Thank you, Chair. And Chair, I thank the Budget Committee for the support they have given the Health Committee. Chair, it is important to note what Honorable Kose has said about the money going to the counties. The money that is going to the counties, I think we had a meeting with the governors last Friday, and even this Wednesday we're going to have a meeting with them. There was an indication when this money is sent to the consolidated fund or to the account, sometimes they don't even know that this money has come for the purpose of health. So a lot of times we find that this money does not even go to the health facilities. Our proposal, even to the Budget Committee, was even the money that we are giving to level 5 hospital, we're only giving to 11 facilities in the entire nation. And our proposal was that that money should be distributed across the entire country so that all the health facilities benefit. So as we move forward, I know we'll engage further with the Budget Committee so that we can make sure that money, health money that goes to the county goes to specifically that purpose of health. Because a lot of it, even what we reimburse as Linda Mama and everything else, Chair, it doesn't reach to the facility, which is a very sad affair. And we are fighting it hard to fight the pandemic. But if we are able to implement the UEC, then it's going to be easier for all of us in the entire nation.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
So I put the question, I put the question, which is that programs under vote 1081 as read out and sums allocated in the schedule be approved. Will as many as of that opinion say aye?
Aye.
Many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it, and I now put the question, which is that sum not exceeding 111,702,668,997 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the recurrent and development expenditure during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect to vote 1081. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Vote 1091, State Department for Infrastructure.
The chair has changed.
Very well. We can proceed. Next one.
Now that you have refused me to speak, go away. You know, there is a House resolution we passed on
Next what? Now that you call the vote, I propose a question which is a sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 111 billion. We are on vote 1091.
1091.
Honourable members,
Infrastructure.
I propose a question which is that sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 189 billion 522 million 762,948 shillings be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure that is recurrent development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1091.
Programs under vote 1091, road transport.
I propose a question which is that the programs under vote 1091 as read out and sums allocated in the schedule be approved.
Put the question.
I put the question which is that programs under vote 1091 as read out and sums allocated in the schedule be approved. As many as of the opinion say aye.
Aye.
And as many as the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I put the global question which is a sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 189 billion 522,762,948 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure, recurrent and development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1091. Will as many as of this opinion say aye?
Aye.
And as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Vote 1092, State Department for Transport.
I propose a question which is that sum not exceeding 47 billion 555 million 286,371 be issued from the consolidated funds to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure that is recurrent and development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect to vote 1092, that is the State Department for Transport.
Programs under vote 1092, General Administration, Planning and Support Services, Rail Transport, Marine Transport, Air Transport, and Road Safety.
I propose a question which is that programs under vote 1092 as read out and sums allocated in the schedule be approved. I need, let me get Honorable Nyika. Honorable Nyika, seat number 108.
Chair, I noticed that under these programs on 1092, there is a road safety. But earlier also on vote number 1021, you also have a road safety. So can somebody probably who can clarify to us where these exactly identical programs are in two different votes and how are they harmonized?
Yes.
It is road safety also.
I'm sure I can give the chair to speak to this, but before that, you can tell these are two different programs. and each program talks about state department. So these are two, the votes different.
But they're both road safety.
Yes, but yes, as a program, but from different state. Yes, Honorable Makali, was your member? Honorable Makali.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, the one under 1021 is under the Committee on Administration and Internal Security, and those are security roads. But in terms of implementation, they will still be implemented by the Public Works. Yeah, but those are specifically security roads. That's the difference.
There you are, the last one, let me give the...
The other one is just normal roads,
Yeah.
done by under Public Works. Yeah.
Which seat? Honorable Member for Nyaribari Church. Can you just make a comment before we put the question to this?
My comment is more or less the same as what my colleague Honorable Nyikari was asking. Madam Speaker, because if we are talking of the two different departments and the vote is the same, road safety, and then we are getting a clarification that there are safety roads. Are there some which are not safety roads, and which one are those, so that we understand clearly which one are safety roads and which one are not, so that we are able to explain to our members?
It's security, not safety, Honorable Member for Nyaribari.
Yeah.
And with that confirmation, members, and clarification, I now put the question, which is that the programs under votes 1092, as read out and sums allocated in the schedule, be approved. As many as have the opinion say aye. And as many as contrary opinion say nay. Members, the ayes have it. I now put the question, which is that the sums not exceeding Kenya shillings 47 billion, 555 million, 286,371 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure that is recurrent and development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1092. Will as many as of this opinion say aye? And as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next vote.
Vote 1093, State Department for Shipping and Maritime Program.
Shipping.
Honourable members, I propose a question, which is a sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 2,517,605,56 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure during the year 30th June, ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1093, that is the State Department for Shipping and Maritime.
Programs under vote 1093, Shipping and Maritime Affairs.
Honourable members, I propose a question, which is that the programs under vote 1093 and read out and sums allocated in the schedule be approved. See no interest to this. And I put the question, which is that programs under vote 1093 as read out and sums allocated in the schedule be approved. Will as many as have the opinion say aye? And as many as have contrary opinion say nay? Members, the ayes have it. I put the question, that's a global question, which is a sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 2,517,605,56 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure that is recurrent and development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect to vote 1093. As many as of this opinion say aye.
Aye.
And as many as of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Vote 1094, State Department for Housing and Urban Development.
I propose a question, which is that the sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 17,057,250,846 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure, recurrent development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of 1094, that is the State Department for Housing and Urban Development.
Programs under vote 1094, Housing Development and Human Settlement, Urban and Metropolitan Development, General Administration, Planning and Support Services.
Members, I propose the question, which is the programs under vote 1094 as read out and sums allocated in the schedule be approved. I put the question, which is that programs under vote 1094 as read out and sums allocated in the schedule be approved. As many as of these opinions say aye. Aye. And as many as of contrary opinions say nay. The ayes have it. I now put the question, which is the sums not exceeding Kenya shillings 17 billion, 57,250,846 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure during the year, the expenditure which is current and development, during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of 1094. As many as of these opinions say aye. Aye. And as many as contrary opinions say nay. The ayes have it.
For 1095, State Department for Public Works.
Members, I propose the question, which is a sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 3,499,489,034 be issued from the consolidated funds to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure, recurrent and development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of 1095.
Programs under vote 1095. Government buildings, coastline infrastructure and pedestrian access, general administration planning and support services, and regulation and development of the construction industry.
Members, I propose the question, which is that the programs under vote 1095 as read out and sums allocated in the schedule be approved. I put the question, members, which is that the programs under vote 1095 as read out and sums allocated in the schedule be approved. As many as of these opinions say aye. Aye. And as many as of contrary opinions say nay. The ayes have it. I now put the question, which is that sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 3,499,489,034 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure, recurrent and development during the year 30th June, year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of the vote 1095. Will as many as of these opinions say aye? Aye. And as many as of contrary opinions say nay? The ayes have it.
1108. Vote 1108, Minister of Environment and Forestry.
Honourable members, I propose the question, which is that the sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 16,250,107,543 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure, recurrent development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1108, which is the Ministry of Environment and Forestry.
Programs under vote 1108, Environment Management and Protection, General Administration Planning and Support Services, Meteorological Services, Forest and Water Towers Conservation, and Resource Survey and Remote Sensing.
Very well. Members, I propose a question, which is that programs under vote 1108 as read out and sums allocated in the schedule be approved. I move to put the question, which is that the programs under vote 1108 as read out and sums allocated in the schedule be approved. Members, as many as of this opinion say aye. Aye. And as many as of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I put the question, which is that the sums not exceeding Kenya shillings 16,250,107,543 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure, recurrent development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect to vote 1108. As many as of this opinion say aye. And as many as the contrary opinion say nay. Members, the ayes have it. Next.
Vote 1109, Minister of Water, Sanitation, and Irrigation.
I proposed a question which is a sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 76,685,441,648 be issued from the consolidated funds to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure, current and development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect for 1109 as the Minister of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation.
Programs under vote 1109, General Administration, Planning and Support Services, Water Resources Management, Water and Sewerage Infrastructure Development, Irrigation and Land Reclamation, Water Storage and Flood Control, and Water Harvesting, Storage and Storage for Irrigation.
Well, I proposed a question which is at programs under vote 1109 as read out, and sums allocated in the schedule be approved. I see member for Wajir North. Your seat number is? There you are.
Madam Speaker, I have a very strong concern in this area. As you are well aware, water is a scarce commodity in the northern part of Kenya, where access to water both by human and livestock is a difficult process. I am aware of schools that have been closed down as a result of lack of water. But then the most unfortunate thing is that, Madam Speaker, there are cases where allocation is made, especially in my constituency, and water of, a pan is allocated. The most unfortunate thing is that a CS sits in his office and gives direction on where the pan is to be done, instead of, considering the views and opinions of the people. A case in point is the CS East Africa, where a pan of which public participation has already been done. And as you are aware, public participation is enshrined in the Constitution under Article 10, Article 118, Article 124, Article 201, 221, and 232. The views and resolutions of the people have been ignored. A pan that was well meant for Gurar has been transferred to Resateno. This is very unfortunate, and if we continue with this top-down approach, then I think project identification, project implementation, project ownership will be absent. High level of conflict will be realized. I think it is the right time that this House gets out of its way, to ensure that, proper oversight and proper allocation is done, so that, a CS does not just come out of his office and, steps on the toe of the citizens. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, you are heard. Let me have, I can see it's an area of interest. Only two other more members. Member for Seme? Your comment on this?
Following on the same, this actually is an issue of devolution, because there are two functions there. There is water, where the major services and so on are actually at national level, and while distribution is actually at the county level. There is agriculture, where irrigation is actually to a large extent being managed at the national level, but actual agriculture dealing with farmers is actually at the county level. What really is the issue here is the harmonization of those two major programs and the monies that are going into the same functions but at different levels. That's important.
Very well, that's a good comment. Last one, the member for... Members, I cannot see you in your... Let me have this, number 36, Honorable Boy. You're not being seen. There you are. Just a comment, please, for the members. There you are.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Chair, this issue, even that has been raised by the Honorable Member for Seme, Dr. Nyikal, was also raised by the Committee of Budget, because we made that observation that there seems to be a lot of departments given the authority to manage the issues of water, and again, it's also a devolved function, so it's important that harmonization is actually done, because there's a lot of water during the times when you have rains, like now, and floods. We are complaining about floods. The next minute, we will start crying again that there's no water in the nation. So it's important that this is managed very properly in a harmonized manner. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, we all speak on the same thing. Honourable members, I can see the area of interest because every other constituency has water issues and you must. For this matter, allow me put the question. Honourable members, which is that the programs under the vote 1109 as read out and the sums allocated in the schedule be approved. Members, will as many as of this opinion say aye? Aye. And as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I put the global question, which is that the sum not exceeding 76,685,441,648 be issued from the consolidated funds to complete the sums necessary to meet the expenditure, recurrent and development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1109 as the Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation. As many as of this opinion say aye. Aye. And as many as the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Vote 1112, Minister of Lands and Physical Planning.
Members, I propose a question which is a sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 5,617,419,339 be issued from the consolidated funds to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure, recurrent and development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1112.
Program under vote 1112, Land Policy and Planning.
I propose a question which is that the programs under vote 1112 as read out and sums allocated in the schedule be approved. I put the question which is that the programs under vote 1112 as read out and sums allocated in the schedule be approved. As many as of this opinion say aye. Aye. And as many as of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I now put the question which is the sum not exceeding sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 5,617,419,339 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure, recurrent and development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1112, that is the Minister of Lands and Physical Planning. Will as many as of this opinion say aye? Aye. And as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The other members, the ayes have it. Next.
Vote 1122, State Department for Information, Communication and Technology and Innovation.
Members, I propose a question which is a sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 20,7,803,430 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure, recurrent and development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1122, State Department for Information, Communication, Technology and Information.
Programs under vote 1122, General Administration, Planning and Support Services, ICT Infrastructure Development, E-Government Services, and Film Development Services.
Members, I propose a question which is at programs and Honorable Chairperson, if I see what the Chairperson no, let me get to the process better and then I can give you something to say. All right, members, I propose a question which is the programs under vote 1122 as read out and sums allocated in the schedule be approved. Chair, you can have a word on that. What is your seat number? Number 76.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I also want to raise a concern that when Treasury comes up with austerity measures, one of the issues they target is ICT services. And they cut across all the ministries, and this particular ministry, its core function is ICT services. So it is important that when they are doing these austerity measures, they ring fence ICT services for Minister of ICT, because the business is ICT, business is communication. Secondly, Honorable Chair, I want to thank the Committee of Budget, because we requested that to support our community radio stations and TV stations, especially during this COVID period, and they agreed with our request, and we supported Media Council to support community radio stations and KBC. So thank you very much.
Very well, being the chair of the same department of the parliament, members, and now I put the question, which is that the programs under votes 1122, as read out and sums allocated in the schedule, be approved. Will as many as of this opinion say aye? And as many as of contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question, which is the sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 20 billion 7,803,430 be issued from the consolidated funds to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure recurrent development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1122. As many as of this opinion say aye, and as many as of contrary opinion say nay, there is it.
Vote 1123, State Department for Broadcasting and Telecommunications.
I propose a question, which is that sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 6,228,631,616 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure recurrent development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1123, that is the State Department for Broadcasting and Telecommunications.
Programs under vote 1123, General Administration Planning and Support Services, Information and Communication Services, Mass Media Skills Development, and Film Development Services.
Members, I propose a question, which is that the programs under vote 1123 as read out and sums allocated in the schedule be approved. I move to put the question, which is that the programs under vote 1123 as read out and sums allocated in the schedule be now approved. As many as of this opinion say aye, and as many as of contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it. I put the question, which is that sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 6,228,631,616 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure recurrent and development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect to vote 1123. As many as of this opinion say aye, and as many as of contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it.
Vote 1132, State Department for Sports.
Members, I propose a question, which is that sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 15,397,084,532 be issued from the consolidated funds to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure recurrent development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1132, the State Department for Sports.
Programs under vote 1132, Sports.
I propose the question, which is that the programs under vote 1132, as read out and sums allocated in the schedule, be approved. Honorable Makali. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, it's under this vote where we have the sports fund, which we are aware that it has a lot of money. I just want to encourage the committee to oversight this particular fund for purposes of accountability. Thank you, Mr.
Very well.
Chair.
The honorable member and members, you can still use your cards for me to be able to. Yours is? Yes, you can.
Please, thanks. Madam Speaker, sports is indeed a great activity. I come from Uasin Gishu County, and sportsmen bring glory, honor, and recognition to our own country. A great example is Eliud Kipchoge. He trains in Mount Constituency, Chirchir Center. Having said that, Madam Speaker, I want Kipchoge Stadium and all like a marine be completed so that, because they are bringing glory, I want their stadiums be completed. Secondly, Madam Speaker, Madam Chair, I want sports fund. It's a grand money. I want Kimani Chungwa, Chairman, I want you to make sure that sports fund are allocated to Moi Referral, Kenyatta Hospital, Kenyatta University, so that they buy high-resolution machines, MRIs, and so on and so forth. Particularly, sportsmen who bring glory. I want them to be treated. That's my concern, Madam Speaker. Thanks.
That's a growl. Let me give, the last one is the whip number 15. I can see the people, the members who want to contribute their sportsmen and women of the house. Let me hear the...
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Chair, the issue of sports, I feel the committee should not just look at football or rather the stadia, should also go beyond that and look at sporting activities that affect the people with disability. We have Paralympic Games. We want to have stadia that can accommodate such kind of people in our society.
Very
so I
well.
would want to support it, but now give them a highlight that let them look at that so that in the future, budgets are going towards that kind of infrastructure.
That will be in a general
Thank
program. I'm sure that will be considered, and the chairperson is also part of the house. Let me have the last one, the nominated member, Honorable Gati Denira. Just a comment on this.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I have a very keen interest on this issue, that is sports. And Madam Chair, I have that interest especially on sports for persons with disabilities in this country. Madam Chair, I want the ministry and I want the committee to ensure that for the first time, Madam Chair, we are seeing sports for persons with disabilities in this country. Because, Madam Chair, sports is not just about fun. Sports, especially for persons with disabilities, is therapeutic. And we have never seen a situation where really this country invests a lot in its people with disabilities, Madam Chair. And that is the reason why, if you look around, even looking at the facilities we have, the various stadia, Madam Speaker, Madam Chair, are stadia that are not accessible for persons with disabilities.
Very well.
You walk around, Madam Chair, and you will see, and I'm seeing a lot of money. Madam Chair, 15 billion is no mean achievement. That is no little change. We can afford to give persons with disabilities in this country an accessible stadia and extremely beautiful things for them to be able to engage themselves and be able to also raise money for their families. Madam Chair, this is a fund that I will personally have an interest to really monitor the implementation. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Anita. Point noted, and thank you also for being there for the disabled. Honourable Member, with that debate in Avena Ross, allow me to put the question, which is that the programs under vote 1132 is read out and the sums allocated in the schedule be approved. As many as of this opinion say aye, and as many as of call opinion say nay, the ayes have it. I now put the question, which is that sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 15 billion, 397 million, 84,532 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure, recurrent and development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of votes 1132. As many as of this opinion say aye, and as many as the court opinion say nay, the ayes have it.
Vote 1134, State Department for Heritage.
Members, I propose a question, which is that sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 2 billion, 722 million, 789,990 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure, recurrent and development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1134, that is the State Department for Heritage.
Programs under vote 1134, culture and heritage, the arts, library services, general administration, planning and support services.
Honourable members, I propose a question, which is that the programs under vote 1134, as read out and the sums allocated in the schedule, be approved. I put the question, which is that the programs under vote 1134, as read out and the sums allocated in the schedule, be approved. As many as are of these opinions say aye, and as many as are contrary opinions say nay. The ayes have it. And I put the question, which is the sums not exceeding Kenya shillings 2,722,789,990 be issued from the consolidated funds to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure, recurrent development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1134. As many as of these opinions say aye, and as many as of contrary opinions say nay. Members, the ayes have it. Next vote.
Vote 1152, State Department for Energy.
I propose a question, which is that sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 72,492,808,221 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure, recurrent and development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1152, that is State Department for Energy.
Programs under vote 1152, General Administration, Planning and Support Services, Power Generation, Power Transmission and Distribution, and Alternative Energy Technologies.
Very well. Members, I propose a question, which is that the programs under vote 1152, as read out and sums allocated in the schedule, be approved. I move to put the question, which is that the programs under vote 1152, as read out, and the sums allocated in the schedule, be now approved. As many as of these opinions say aye, and as many as of contrary opinions say nay, the ayes have it. Members, I put the question to the vote, which is that the sum not exceeding Kenya shillings. We are on. I put the question now to the vote, which is that Kenya sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 72,492,808,221 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure, recurrent and development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1152, the State Department for Energy. As many as are of these opinions say aye, and as many as contrary opinions say nay, the ayes have it.
Vote 1162, State Department for Livestock.
Members, I propose a question, which is that a sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 5,991,795,073 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure, recurrent and development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect to vote 1162, the State Department for Livestock.
Programs under vote 1162, Livestock Resources Management and Development.
Just a single program. Those are the programs, not a single program. All right, members, I propose a question, which is that the program under 1162, as read out, and sums allocated in the schedule, be approved. See no interest, and I move to put the question. Yes, the Honorable, is it Honorable Meli? Oh, Honorable Kanini Kega. Yes, you look. Honorable Member for Kieni. Honorable member, what is the seat number? Your card is with the chairman budget. 167. We are trying to trace your seat. We can only see 162. You know, the chair for budget, sat where?
Thank you, Chair. That's harassment. We have a lot of livestock in Kenya. Chair, my concern is that there was an amount. I don't know whether it's. Is it audible? Yes. Chair, my concern.
Yes, we can hear you, Honorable Kanini Kega.
Yes, my concern is that there was an allocation of 379 million shillings, which was actually transferred from the Ministry of Industry, together with, that is under Leather Development Council. I wanted to confirm whether it has been captured, because this came from the executive order that was actually given.
Very well. Yes, all the adjustments as far as we are concerned, and they are at this stage of the procedure, was done during the budget stage, the process, and I'm sure the chairmen were involved and everything. That's why we are able to move to this point. So your considerations, I'm sure they were taken up by the
If it's captured, then that's okay then. Thank you.
And the necessary
Thank
advice
you.
also will come from the, as Maura Makali did put earlier, that at this stage you are not able to change much. And so with that, I now move to put the question, which is that the programs under vote 1162 as read out and sums allocated in the schedule be approved. As many as of this opinion say aye.
Aye.
And as many as of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. I put the question, which is a sum not exceed Kenya shillings 5,991,795,073 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure recurrent development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect to vote 1162, that is the State Department for Livestock. As many as are of this opinion say aye.
Aye.
And as many as have contrary opinion say nay. Members, the ayes have it. Next vote.
Vote 1166, State Department for Fisheries, Aquaculture, and the Blue Economy.
Members, I propose the question, which is that sum not exceed Kenya shillings 6,958,874,045 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure, recurrent development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of vote 1166, and that is the State Department for Fisheries, Agriculture, in the blue economy.
Programs under vote 1166, Fisheries Development and Management, General Administration, Planning and Support Services, Development and Coordination of the Blue Economy.
Very well. I propose a question, which is that programs under vote 1166, as read out, and sums allocated in the schedule be approved. Be approved. Yes. Just a comment?
Yes. Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. My concern is specific to the Lake region, and I want to have the comfort that the programs that have been highlighted here will cover the Lake region adequately.
Very well.
The same applies to, sorry that this had passed, 1093 on the issues of shipping and maritime, again, that the Lake region will also be considered, and programs directed towards those areas. Thank you.
Very well. With that, members, I now put what has been noted. I put the question to the debate. She's already spoken on the issue of Lake. The member for, because I'd registered to put the question. Nyaribari, Church, just.
I do appreciate it.
You appreciate our challenges, eh? And the challenges we have in Rec region is that when we speak of Rec region, people assume that it's rural Nyanza. And yet we have such a huge area which is covered under Kisi, and we never benefited from these programs, Madam Speaker. As we speak, we have River Kucha, Madam Speaker, which can also qualify under this Rec region arrangement. We are asking the ministry concerned, Madam Speaker, to ensure that Rec region does not confine to one small area,
Correct.
but it covers the entire region. And
Very
we
well.
have also facilities and the programs
Yes.
which should be incorporated under this Rec region. Like River Kucha, Madam Speaker,
But-
has such one potential, and we need to use it and tap it.
Point noted, and I'm sure your people now feel represented and the ministry has had.
Yeah.
Honourable members, now I put the question, which is the programs and vote 1166 as read out, and the sums allocated in the schedule be approved. As many as are these opinions say aye.
Aye.
And as many as are called opinions say nay. The ayes have it. I put the question, which is that sum not exceeding Kenya shillings 6,958,874,045 be issued from the consolidated fund to complete the sum necessary to meet the expenditure recurrent development during the year ending 30th June 2021 in respect of the vote 1166, that is the State Department for Fisheries, Aquaculture and Blue Economy. As many as of this opinion say aye.
Aye.
And as many as have contrary opinion say nay. Yes, it. Members, following our own procedures of the House, as guided by the House, your resolutions on members, it's time for me now to call the move reporting. Progress.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. I beg to move that the Committee of Supply do report to the House its consideration of the budget estimates for the financial year 2020-2021 in respect of the following votes. Vote 1011, 1021, 1023, 1032, 1035, 1041, 1052, 1064, 1065, 1066, 1068, 1071, 1072, 1081, 1091, 1092, 1093, 1094, 1095, 1108, 1109, 1112, 1122, 1123, 1132, 1134, 1152, 1162, and the last vote 1166. And its approval thereof without amendments and seek leave to sit again.
Very well, with the moving the reporting on members, allow me put the question for reporting, and which is that the Committee of Supply do report to the House its consideration of the budget estimates for the financial year 2020-2021 in respect of votes 1011, 1021, 1023, 1032, 1035, 1041, 1052, 1064. 1091, 1092, 1093, 1094, 1095, 1108, 1109, 1112, 1122, 1123, 1132, 1134, 1152, 1162, and 1166. Its approval and thereof without amendments, and seek leave to sit again. Honourable members, will as many as of this opinion say aye?
Aye.
And as many as of contrary opinion say nay?
No nays.
The ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, Mr. Speaker.
Chairperson.
Chairperson. That one.
Oh, very well, thank you. Honourable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of Supply has considered the budget estimates for the financial year 2020-2021 in respect of votes 1011, 1021, 1023, 1032, 1035, 1041, 1052, 1064, 1065, 1066, 1068, 1071, 1072, 1081, 1091, 1092, 1093, 1094, 1095, 1108, 1109, 1112, 1122, 1123, 1132, 1134, 1152, 1162, and 1166, and approve the same without amendments, and sought leave to sit again.
Very well. Mover.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I also request Honorable Samuel Moroto to second the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of Supply on the budget estimates for the financial year 2020-2021.
Honorable Moroto.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As a member of this committee, I want to thank my chairman, Bwana Ichung'wah, and the entire membership of the committee. I want also to thank the whole House because of what they have done, and also the Speaker because of the way you have guided. So, as I want to second. Thank you.
Very well, honorable members, I propose a question, which is that the House do agree with the Committee of Supply in the said report. Honorable members, I put the question, which is that the House do agree with the Committee of Supply in the said report. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
The ayes have it.
Honorable members, it is 3 minutes after 1. The time being 3 minutes after 1 p.m., this House stands adjourned until Tuesday, 16th of June 2020 at 2:30 p.m.